Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I bet you guys thought I'd forgotten about you this week. Not on your Nelly, especially since the YouTube algorithm has been reasonably kind to me the last couple of months. We've had an uptick in impressions and views. I want to keep that going if at all possible. So, while we're talking about the algorithms, chaps, do furnish me with your likes and comments down there at the bottom if you would be so kind. It doesn't matter if you've got anything to say. Let me know how wonderful you are. I'm dying to know anything you like. What have we got today? It's going to be 4v4 ladder action. First of all, Roey's got in touch from the powers that be at FAF, the promotional side of things. He's looking for help with the landing page. If you've been on the FAF client recently, you might have noticed it's been a while since it's been updated. So if you have relevant skills, interests, or you're just keen to learn and want to help out, do get in contact via the FAF Discord. Look out for Roey, or just generally ask around. Find someone important, they'll point you in the right direction, I'm sure. All right, on to today's game. As we said, it's 4v4 ladder. I was going to say an eclectic mix of Joes and pros, but it's not. It's mainly pros with a couple of Joes thrown in for good measure, and there's best use, as we've said the news, so we can go straight to the action. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. Let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching. Ka-ching. Smooth one today. Always nice to have a soft landing. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top. This Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1. Rearguard air position. It's system failure. I should hit up some time so they're allowed to actually jump in. Or I could select the client and then press unpause. How about that, Guile? It's going well so far. System failure. Here he is. Finally makes his entrance. Overly dramatic as always. Going Cyanide Cyan, going UEF, how terribly sensible, opening first land. Down here on the front line for Team 1, we have a Death Squad. Going Cybrin, bless him, opening first land in Electric Blue. Team member number 3 over here to his right, also on the front line, it's Dro, going Seraphim, opening first land. And last but not least, up here, sporting this season's fabulous Vivacious Violet, it's Matthew. How very understated and normal of you, sir. Going Aeon, opening first land. So all races represented there for Team 1. Let's introduce Team 2 now, starting with the bottom right down here in Halib Orange, going Seraphim, opening first land. Aw, it's Broken Princess. Who broke you, darling? What's his name? I'll find him and do him. Not in that way, of course, but damn. Good job, girl. I should probably start again, but I'm not going to. Anyway, there she is, and she's putting the pieces of her life back together. On the front line now for Team 2, it is Conjuro. Here we go. Going Aeon in Ferrari Red, opening first land. Team member number 3 to his left over here. I'm surprised he had the courage to show up. It's Amygdala going Seraphim in Burgundy Red, opening first and second land. And last but not least, at the bottom left-hand corner, it's Burning Firefly going Mellow Yellow, opening first land. So there we have it. 2 Seraphim, 2 Aeon for Team 2. Game quality characteristically high for a ladder match at 98%. The difference between the averages of the two teams is not much at all. It's 1537 versus 1564. A microscopic advantage for Team 2, but barely worth even mentioning. Highest rated player today in the chappie to watch out for is Death Squad at 1825. He's obviously a real regular when it comes to 4v4 ladder. Lowest rated player is Matthew over here at 1035. It's worth mentioning, of course, these aren't global ranking scores, which is what we usually determine or use to determine Joe or pro status, the 1500 threshold, if you will. So we don't really know. Matthew could actually be a pro and just not have played as many games on 4v4 ladder, but we'll go with it for now. The other potential Joe down here is Broken Princess at 1464. So there we have it. Everybody else is over 1500 or 1600 indeed. But there's a big old gap between 1693 Amygdala and the top rated player Matthew at 1825. So potentially an advantage down here for them on Team 1 on this side, but we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Broken Princess as well on the right hand side down here, potentially with a huge advantage facing off against Matthew. But we will see. Introducing our map, Verdanis. I don't think we've been here before on Guilecast. We're used to seeing usually the distribution of mass collecting around the cliff edges, but here it's a pretty liberal smattering, a real sneezer with mass strewn all over the place. And we've got these big old wrecks in the center as well from crashed and blown up units. We did have some big ones, even bigger ones of 200 odd at the back there. Some transports, one for Death Squad, one over here for Dro. Similar situation down here. There you go. 267 a pop. Not too shabby, but excuse me, still battling the cold, unfortunately, so hopefully it's not too gross to listen to. But apart from these big wrecks, there's not an awful lot of mass that's going to hold the comms here, with hold their attention. So perhaps we won't see a protracted battle in the middle here in this dried up riverbed, or perhaps we will, who knows. But there doesn't seem to be a huge amount calling the commanders here to grab territory and hold it. We'll just have to see. So Kanjiro getting into it now with Dro. Dro on around 10,700 hit points, absorbs a little bit of damage, but not really much worth talking about. Death Squad now takes over and exchanges fire with Kanjiro. Amygdala still scoopy, naughty back here. Scout planes out from Burning Firefly. And a transport with a single lab on board. It's not quite... I mean, does it count as a ghetto gunship with just one lab riding shotgun? And is it really riding shotgun in a circular ship? Probably not. Inbound nonetheless. And engineers working on a railgun. It's like they sense what's coming. But they're going to get a lab for their trouble to the face. It immediately locks on. One engineer down. Anything in the area available to shoot down? Not really. System failure has some interceptors, but there's a little bit of a fighter screen in play for Burning Firefly. System failure going to ride straight past those and then get into it. Can he get the lab on the ground? Yes, he can. So that's probably going to be the end of those two mexes for system failure. He's going to have to work to get that back. Look at this little aggressive drop, though, from Broken Princess. Not as broken as we were first led to believe it would seem. Offloading an engineer onto this plateau that should, by all intents and purposes, belong to Matthew. He's going to have to fight to get that one back as well. Already having now a steady stream of T1 spam. All the regular players pumping out their ground forces. Best type of pumping. Death Squad getting an upgrade on his commander now. A 14% complete gun upgrade, no less. And also another gun upgrade going down over here for Matthew. Coming up to 30% done there. So Team 1, the first to get going with the upgrades. But what's this? Dro finding himself caught short potentially by Kanjiro. Advancing with his commander and a horde of Auroras. Dro, do you have any support at all? Any? It's all the way back here. He's all by his lonesome and he's almost already at about 50% health. Kanjiro showing no signs of slowing as yet, continuing to pursue Dro even into the dried up riverbed. Dro now down to about 5,000 hit points. Kanjiro continuing to press. The reinforcements show up. Kanjiro changes his direction and backs off. Interesting. I thought he had Dro on the ropes there. Maybe he was concerned he didn't have enough intel, saw those units arrive and didn't want to force a bad position. I can totally relate. I'm a massive coward too, so that's how I would play it. But no, it was probably the right thing to do. You know what? If he pushed too hard, he would have found himself too far forward potentially, and Death Squad's got an upgrade that's going to finish, well, in the not too distant future. 80% done there, still climbing. Still a little bit of ways to go. It would have been a risk, put it that way. Larry the Lab gets himself gizzarded by a push from system failure to retake this little plateau over here. Drops 2 engineers and 2 strikers in to do the job. Gets the job done. Doesn't waste any time going for the mexes. No, he wastes plenty of time going for the mexes, excuse me. I didn't see the queued up versions there. It looked like it was going straight for the point defense. But there is a point defense and an anti-air emplacement queued up. What's going on down here now? A little run by on the cards now from system failure, looking to hit back at Firefly. Gun upgrade started for Amygdala in the middle. 20% done there. That's pretty crucial since Death Squad has his upgraded comm. But Death Squad, I don't know if they have spotted this. He's marching forward on that position. Is he looking to force a cancel here? It's currently paused, and there's the cancel from Amygdala. Some 20-25% of that upgrade done. Those resources, of course, wasted. So nice work there from Death Squad. Advances forward. And another ghetto gunship out from Burning Firefly, who is pumping out more and more of these labs. He's got 3 more queued up from this factory down here. I'm starting to get excited. I love a little bit of ghetto gunship business. And he's pumping more labs out of this factory down here as well. Potentially all sorts of goodness on the cards there. We'll have to wait and see. Outbound transport for system failure, moving to the, I was about to say the front line, but he's not. He's moving over here. However, there's already a point defense in place, and I don't think they were Lobos. I think they were Strikers, so he's not going to be successful on that front. That's going to get cut to ribbons, just like the forward infrastructure belonging to Amygdala, as Death Squad picks off a mass extractor and a land factory. Amygdala's dropped further back. He started that upgrade again. Can he get it cancelled again by Death Squad is the question. It's progressed nicely this time, however. It's already 50% done, so I think he's probably in a good place to stick with that, and he's got a lot of backup on the ground around that commander as well, so unlikely that that's going to get finished off anytime soon. What have we got here? A T2 transport and alumna on the way for Burning Firefly, and of course lots of labs queuing up, stacking up down here, and that chariot fully laden as well, so a potential snipe attempt on the cards here from Burning Firefly. Gun upgrade on the way for Broken Princess, really important as well, because she's facing off against Matthew, who has got double upgraded commander now. That sniper comm fully operational. Terrifying piece of equipment as that is. So that is not a terrible decision right there. Some nice T2 forces present for Dro. Ilshiva's pushing back this absolute horde of Aurora spam belonging to Kanjiro. Dro, who's also got gun upgrade, has repped up a little bit, but not an enormous amount. 7,100 hit points left on the commander there. But the transports are away. They are moving up, and I would imagine Death Squad is the primary target. If they could get rid of anyone, it would be him. But he's not running interference with the fighters, and system failure is moving in. This might be a horrible, horrible decision right here. These fighters should be protecting these transports. They've gone straight after Death Squad, but they're going to have to back out. Death Squad taking only menial amounts of damage. Is the alumni going to get shot down as well? Yes, it is. All the labs dead and gone. System failure on the ball there. Very nicely done indeed. Catastrophic decision there. He had the interceptors to keep those safe, but for some reason didn't run a fighter screen up here and give them coverage. If he had done, we might have been looking at a big smouldering crater where Death Squad's commander used to be. But meanwhile, there might be a problem over here on the right hand side. Dro getting over exuberant, thinking that he had covered more ground than he had with that gun upgrade, just wandered straight into those fighters. I'm Combomb, BOPIS, don't know what that means. I'm Combomb. I'm guessing the position was bad for him and he wanted to take out as much of that spam as possible. Maybe give all of his stuff over to the 1825 neighbor of his over here. Potentially. Seems like a risky play. But anyway, Team 1 down a man. So, turns out the attempt on Death Squad by Burning Firefly hasn't set Team 2 back too much. Broken Princess, meanwhile, getting into it with Matthew over on the right-hand side. Sort of even numbers of spam, both comms focusing down their opponent's T1 units as best they can. New set of land factories going down up here for Matthew. Nicely done. Forward reinforcement point, and a lovely little run by on the ground from System Failure, who's enacting some revenge right now on this left hand side against Burning Firefly. He's got some pillars in the mix here, so the transition to T2 tech well and truly complete. Factories dying, 2 of the 4 in this area torn apart. The third one goes down in short order as well. Now strolling into point defense range. Kanjiro pulling his commander away from the center towards Matthew. Matthew's wisely going to withdraw. He doesn't want to get himself sandwiched in between Princess and Kanjiro. Kanjiro, who of course can match his damage output with that Aeon sniper commander. He's also a 2-star commander. Matthew yet to find his first rank in veterancy. Broken Princess testing the waters with her spam. And then advancing with the commander. There are is a unit of point defense. It doesn't last long. There's some Zooies in the mix here for Broken Princess. Matthew assaulting this group of units from the side. Has some of his own units further back. Needs to be a little bit careful here, though. Finding himself very isolated and without any kind of support. His own units are moving in, but it's going to be too little too late, I think, into the red. Sub 1,500 hit points now. Broken Princess on the attack. She ain't broke. She'll be going home later, going out with her friends to a bar and talking about the man she spanked who deserved it purely because he possessed a PP. I didn't sleep very well last night, so it's all a little bit up in the air. Amygdala rolling forward, grabbing a mechs. Death Squad coming forward potentially to deny said mechs. Wow, and not just a transition to T2 tech. Death Squad, who is now sitting on 3 bases incidentally, pulling in 170 mass per tick, already has a clump of loyalists up front. Is Amygdala aware of that? Probably not. Those units have not been scouted. Everything else has, so they've freshly shown up on the scene. And they could take Amygdala by surprise. This is just back and forth. One poor decision after another right now. Amygdala. Oh no! It was going so well for Team 2. The Loyalists tearing into Amygdala's commander. We're still with a base amount of HP. Bosh! Down and out goes Amygdala. That's the top rated player on Team 2. It's now a 2v3. And System Failure pushing that western flank once again. This is unreal. The decisions that are being made right now, it's all over the place. Kanjiro with a Chrono Dampener. He's moving in. He has shield, says Dro. No, he went for Chrono Dampener instead. If you're talking about this chap, I'm sure you would be. And there we go, knocking out of commission temporarily. These needs to be careful. There's a lot of Ilshivers in here, though. Kanjiro, 18,200 hit points at full strength. He's down to about 15,000 right now. A forward shield from Death Squad, blocking a lot of the inbound damage. A couple of chunky Obsidian tanks with their onboard shield gens, absorbing some of the damage. Kanjiro taking a lot of fire, though, from these dual T2 point defense batteries. Suddenly, he's looking in a pretty pickle. He's taking a lot of damage. He's into the red. Sub 3,000 hit points. The Ilshivers sense trouble. They move in. Kanjiro gets a well-timed rank in veterancy. He's now a 4-starred com. But in come the Loyalists. And suddenly, that rank in veterancy is absolutely annihilated. The extra hit point benefit that he got from it disappears in no time. The Asylum shield gens providing some coverage, but could we see another com ejection? Oh no, still in range of point defense as well. Boom, baby! Ouch. And now it's a 2v2. Kanjiro goes down. And he was their second highest rated player. So it's Burning Firefly and Broken Princess versus System Failure and Death Squad. The 2 lowest rated players versus the 2 highest rated players. And eco terms, it's broadly even with a mild advantage in mass terms for Team 1. This is not looking good right now for Team 2. This is just one throw after another right now. Going on over here. Oh! Lovely little bit of artillery. Was that a ground fire? Or was... Okay, hang on a minute. Was that a ground fire that was incredibly well positioned with the Zooey? Or were they... Can you target a transport if it's carrying land units? Because I have never seen that before. And if that's something that needs adjusting, if that's a thing. If you want to inspect it for yourself, guys, the replay is in the description below this video, as I always do, so you can go and watch it back at your leisure. But wow. Just insane. Inbound TAC missile fire from Burning Firefly. Where's that coming from? Definitely coming from this kind of direction. That's tactical missile defense. We'll wait to see if we can spot more missiles en route as the game progresses. Air superiority fighters on the field for Burning Fireflies. So, we have T3 Air down here. We have T3 Air for Broken Princess as well, who's churning out strat bombers now. Do we have air coverage to match from Team 1? They've been very strong on the ground to put it back to evens in terms of player count. I'm not sure they can defend well against air superiority fighters and strat bombers. Definitely looking to be outmatched in the air. Seraphim strat bomber circling down here. Worst usage of the strat I've ever seen, says Dro. So there was the TAC missile launcher. Found it eventually. Strat. So there must have been another strat out. Well, there's another one down here from Firefly. He's probably talking about this one. He's got 27 kills to his name, and he's going on quite the run, assassinating mass points right now. So it's not too bad. And another... Look at this lovely combined effort from Team 2 right now with these strat bombers. Broken Princess going after another T2 mech to the back. Oh! Lovely placement. Kills the engineer as well, standing nearby. And just a moment ago, we were talking about Team 1 being in the lead. That mass advantage has disappeared. It is now an advantage for Team 2. 255 versus 221. I humbly suggest, Dro, things are not fine. The strat bombers are doing rather well. Now Dro's saying in team chat, put the SAMs out. Get your SAMs in play. You need coverage. But look at this pressure on the ground now. Where are all the forces? Where are all the ground forces from Team 1? They've just disappeared. They're the loyalists, so it's a little bit of a, I wouldn't say base trade situation, but offensive and counter-offensive happening simultaneously. Broken Princess smashing down Dro's old base, and Death Squad going after amygdalas. Mass Point's primary target. They are being pursued by Harbingers and Ilshivers, though, so they're going to have to stay on the move. Oh, if they could get down here and deny that quantum reactor, that would be a juicy target of opportunity. But look at this. Dro's old base completely destroyed. Nothing left of it. That's a harsh blow for Team 1, and not in a good way. Death Squad pulling his commander, or thinking about it. Trouble is, there's a lot of firepower in here, and all he's got is a single gun upgrade. What he really needs is some point defense down here, and a brick. That'll help. Lots of engineers in the area piling on their build power towards that. So he did inflict some damage. Didn't manage to prevent the quantum reactor going online. And crucially, all the core mass still stands. One core mech's destroyed in Amygdala's old base. But otherwise, a much more successful attack from Broken Princess. However, pressure coming in down the right-hand side now from Death Squad. This little forward group of land factories over here, under pressure, under threat. And nothing really inbound to save it, although there is a strat bomber. That's going to take the edge off this army for certain. And we do have another couple of Ilshivers coming in from the southeast as well. Might actually manage to save some of these factories. He's lost the mass point. But never mind. Engineers. Ooh, that was very cheeky. Engineer drop attempt from Broken Princess, trying to scoop some of this mass. System failure says, nah, no thank you. That's ours. Swoops in with his air superiority fighters for the denial. Ilshiva's going to carry on towards Matthew's old base, but I don't think they're going to make it. Harbinger's lying in wait, chopping down those inbound threats. Nice pressure down the western approaches from System Failure. They've caught Burning Firefly's commander, who has got double gun comm, though. Has a Harb and some Ilshivas to contend with this. This group of pillars is not going to be able to cut through that commander. System Failure tucks tail and runs, trying to save as many of those as he can. Loyalists. Again, moving out towards the middle. So despite, when we got down to a 2v2, it looked like Team 1 were about to start running away with this, but wonderful strap bomber maneuvers. Cut down their eco. A great attack from Broken Princess. Killed off that forward front right base of what was Dro's old base. Suddenly we're looking at a different picture, but Team 1 have brought the eco differential down. It is now 282 versus 2... what? Briefly overtaking for a minute. But it's not, surely. Well, it's saying Team 1 are ahead, so somehow some masterful ecoing going on. Engineers working on Tech 3 extractors at the back. They're going to have to make sure they get enough units out on the ground, though, to protect against those little hit-and-run tactics of Broken Princess. We've got enough air superiority fighters, I think, from System Failure now to protect against any more strap bomber offenses. We do have the odd strap bomber kicking around from Team 2. Burning Firefly with one landed over here. It's just the one from him. Have we got any tucked away for Princess anywhere? Not that I can see. And looks like we're moving into a little bit of a quiet phase now as players start to rebuild rather than plan any offensive campaigns. Although System Failure trying to cut down the enemy's air force with a raid over the top of Amygdala's old base. And that is the perfect engagement there. Wiped out all of Burning Firefly's fighters and then got the hell out of there before Princess could respond with her own, and what is potentially a larger number of fighters as well. So System Failure would have lost that encounter, but it was a nice hit and run play. Starting to get away from those the early stages of the game, because it really did feel like it was stacking up one questionable decision after another from both teams, quite frankly. But these last four players starting to settle into it now. And a potential gunship attack brewing down here. Only 5 of them remain. They have support from lightning tanks. There we go. Lightning tanks that seem to be devastating, in fact. I'm not sure. I think it might have been Guile Cast Premium, the last cast we did this week, where we saw lightning tanks en masse just unleashing havoc. I don't know if they've been buffed recently. Do let us know in the comment section below if they've received any treatment. But they can be absolutely devastating. Run by attempt from Firefly here, trying to sneak in around the left-hand side of this plateau, but a couple of Percivals lying in wait for System Failure persuades him to back up and regroup. Another little hit-and-run attempt with these packs of Ilshivas from Princess, trying to get in around the back here, but look at the sheer number of Harbs that Death Squad has amassed. Loads of Harbingers over on this right-hand side, and they should, if they carry on going, they should be able to chase down these Ilshivas. I think on paper they're faster. They definitely can catch up with them if they start moving laterally. I guess they were forced to, thanks to the shape of this formation there. Siege tanks, Harbingers, Ilshivas, Obsidians, even a lab, sniper bot. Where's the lightning tank? Might have been taken out. Oh, and look, a Verdanis. That's some pretty comprehensive unit mix right there. Shield upgrade on the way for Firefly as we approach 30 minutes. And it's actually been pretty close. There's only 10k difference in terms of total mass accrued between the two teams. Full share is on, of course, so we haven't had whole bases being obliterated and recycled with the demise of each com. So that is a pretty solid representation. Yes, we did lose one full base up here, which has since been rebuilt by that attack from Broken Princess. Generated eco, though, it's starting to look like a slightly different picture. Team 2 are starting to pull ahead somewhat, which surprises me because Team 1 did get in the lead comfortably a moment ago. So that is no power lock for Team 1. That is a proper representation of what's going on the mass front. System failure, preparing to defend this left flank against these siege tanks. Did the Verdanis die? No, it's still there. So along with the sniper bot, some decent ranged capabilities in this little unit mix over on the left hand side, but still he's not going to hang about. He definitely can't punch his way through, not past those Percivals and those Loyalists and bricks. Nice little engagement brewing, though, in the center, and that is an absolute massacre as Harbs from Princess cut their way through what was, broadly speaking, mainly a T1 army belonging to Death Squad, comprising of Zuis from these forward facilities up here. We did have the odd brick, so to speak. Another engagement brewing over here, but not something that's really taken too seriously. A couple of exchanged shots here and there, but a GC moving inbound. Georgina, the GC, looking typically burly and muscular as ever. She should have started on those hormones earlier. Estrogen in short supply on Verdanis, apparently. Sniper bots. Under shield coverage, slowly withdrawing, taking pot shots at these inbound bricks and doing a lot of damage to that lead brick. There's still 3 more moving in behind. Firefly standing his ground. Brings out the Othams, and the shield coverage nicely protecting those sniper bots that then, as soon as they've finished off the bricks, take out a forward mass point over here. Despite that, Team 1 still keeping up in terms of total mass. Georgina turning around. Oh, I don't know. Where's the anti-air coverage? Well, there it is, trailing by some margin. If he'd have managed to keep those up and running, he could have come steaming in down here. And what is there to defend against it? There's a very large group of Harbingers, but since they fixed the tractor pull mechanism on the Colossus, I'm not actually sure that many Harbingers could even defend adequately against the GC. Broken Princess is working on an Ethota. And that GC, that handbrake turn, waiting for those Ascendants to catch up, that might have been the window of opportunity that they needed. Now that Ethota is probably going to get completed before the GC can make it to the main base, if that's Death Squad's intention. Otham's Strike Force moving up towards the top left-hand corner, where it's very sparsely populated and there's a few very vulnerable mass points. One broadsword brought out, but look at the damage from the lightning tank. Oh no, but it... Oh, one more shot was all it needed to take out the gunship, but for some reason it locked on to one of the ground targets over here. And as such, the broadsword was allowed to remain. Some 350 hit points left over there, but we need to check in with what's happening over here as the GC does engage that horde of Harbingers and just starts sucking them up towards its massive brute fists. Look at the damage. That is so much more effective than it used to be. Only just dipped into the yellow there. A group of Harbingers like that used to have so much more effect on a Colossus, but they are deadly now. Whole army destroyed, and it's still got about 70% of its HP left. Checking back in with the little Otham attack up here. System failure now, losing mass points. That gunship's still alive, trying to get work done. Struggling to chew through the hit points on the shield, though. GC continues to march, but the Ethota completed. Harbingers engage. Again, they get sucked up. Ethota exchanges fire with the GC. Oh, lovely little bit of micro work evading those balls of plasma. Look at that. Perfect GC micro. Can he evade one more? Yes, he can. Strap bombers inbound to try and add the damage, but the laser face has been extraordinarily successful. Great micro. Who's going to go down first? Oh, Rankin Vet from somewhere, I think. What? Kills off the Ethota, gets a Rankin Vet, which just about saves him. How on earth did he manage to do that? But he hasn't got enough hit points left, I don't think, to make it back. Too many bombers kicking around. Where is all of that flak? Should have been right behind the GC. I'm not convinced that couldn't have gone slightly better if he'd have just been able to stick that flak closer to the commander. Not sure he'll be happy with that play. Wasps chasing down Firefly's air superiority fighters, but when combined with Princesses, that will be, frankly, no contest. System failure withdraws. Gets a whole bunch of Geminis gifted over to him from Death Squad. Let's just do a quick ASF tally. 55 Wasps and 19 Geminis. So call it 75 versus 34 for Firefly. That's 79 for Princess. Not much of a competition, really. Team 2 with a hefty air advantage. A second GC inbound now. Can it do better than Georgina did a moment ago? Just don't bother sending your T3 bots in against the GC anymore. It's not worth it. Pure tractor fodder. I'm not actually 100% sure that they are now balanced. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, ladies and gentlemen, if you let me know in the comments down below. If If you've been watching this channel for a while, or indeed playing FAF for any significant amount of time in the past, I'm sure you will notice the same sort of difference that I'm noticing these days. GC in range, incinerating the forward base. Over here, what did belong to Kanjiro. Again, Ascendants lagging behind. They're catching up now. Horde of T1 bombers being brought to bear from Firefly, trying to tackle this GC. Where's the next experimental from Princess? Well, not far off. 56,000 out of 67,000. Big old push coming up the middle, though, from Firefly. I think we're going to have to go to split screen to keep an eye on these two theaters. Interestingly, that GC now tailing off, not going after Princess's base, going after Firefly. Probably got a read on the construction progress of that Ethota and thought better of it. But there's also another Ethota, this time out from Firefly, going after Death Squad's main base. Death Squad's ACU still under shield coverage in said main base. We've got a single broadsword that's locked on to that experimental, but it's tickling away. It's not going to chew through that HP anytime soon. There's also some flak in this unit mix. Lots of flak, meanwhile, assisting the comm down here. Not the comm, sorry, the GC, which is now tearing its way through the remnants of Amygdala's old base. It's going to meet up with forces from System Failure, which is also coming down this western approach right now. On the minimap, you can see a big old group of units pushing up to the top right-hand corner, but where on earth did that Tsar come from? It's Death Squad's, but it couldn't keep his comm alive. Wow, Death Squad goes down. And a lot of this force is still operational. GC down here at the bottom left continuing to move in on Firefly's base, but there's a lot of forces, hostile forces still on the ground going after System Failure's comm. The last comm alive on Team 1. Where is Burning Firefly? He's making a run for it. The Tsar gets shot down. A massive AFS sounds like a furniture store. A massive ASF battle ensues over the remains of that old Tsar. System Failure doing his best to take down these bases on the left-hand side. Can he save his commander? He still has an operational base, what was Matthew's old base and Dro's forward base online, although Broken Princess will probably sweep left in a minute to take care of that. But System Failure's got nowhere to go. His comm's been located and his time has run out. GG's go out from Princess. What a wonderful game. Just as the GC rolls in to Firefly's old base. Couldn't locate the comms, though. They got out of dodge. I say a wonderful game. It was a wonderful game, but lots of mistakes, I think, all round. Very different from many of the games we've cast recently. Very entertaining nonetheless. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Don't forget, if you've seen everything on the main channel and you fancy a little bit more, there is the option of Guilecast Premium on Patreon. It's a mere $1 a month. It'll also give you access to the Discord, so you can come chat with us, hang out. We had some games go down last night. I wasn't there for it, unfortunately, but people getting it on in the Discord is always good to see. Thank you so much to my Discord admin, incidentally, Captain Klutz, for that replay submission for today and for doing the thumbnail for me, because it's always a thrill when I don't have to do it. I can't stand the whole thing. It's the worst part. I know I've said it a million times before, but it really is the worst part, or the only real negative part of being a YouTuber. You know, I never wanted to go into graphic design for a reason. If I wanted to, I would have been born with someone with some graphical talent, but alas, I was not. Anyway, enough of that. As always, more to come from me in the future. But until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.